What's up, data pipeliners? Welcome back to another episode on writing data pipelines with Kedro. I'm your host, Data Engineer 1, and today we're going to be talking about Kedro's brand new release 0.16.5. There's a lot of really fantastic stuff that came out that'll really help a lot of plugin development and also some changes that you do have to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and get started. Opening up the release notes here on the GitHub page, we see that we have 0.16.5. This release comes with a lot of cool major improvements regarding hooks especially. Now, the one thing that I want to point out very first is the change from pipeline.py to hooks.py. This change is one of the biggest changes that we've seen, and actually, to be honest with you, this actually breaks my last video, the complete beginner guide to Kedro. Because they moved the file, now I have to either re-record that video or just update something. I don't know, we'll figure that out later. But basically, they've moved all of the pipeline registration, configuration registration, and the catalog registration to a completely different file. This is located here inside of the hooks.py file. And opening up this file, you'll see that there's actually a brand new project hooks class which has these 3 hook implementations. Now this is really cool because it means that anywhere you have a pipeline or configuration loader or catalog is where you can also insert your own hooks into the system. We're gonna have to experiment with it a little bit, I think. If you have multiple hooks that will register a configuration loader or multiple hooks that register the pipeline or catalog, there is an order, but then how does it resolve all of those hooks at the same time, right? I can see, for instance, how register pipelines could potentially combine the multiple dictionaries into a single large dictionary, but I'm not sure how that works with register config loader. We're gonna have to do some experiments with that a little later on. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button if you're curious to see the results of that experimentation. Otherwise, this has the potential to completely change the way that we currently do hooks. The documentation seems pretty straightforward, and I think this is a great change to creating, for example, programmatic pipelines. We have a few videos currently documenting that process, and inside of all of those, it feels a little bit hacky. We have to reach into the project context and then reach into the create pipelines function. But with this hooks, it makes it much easier to bring all of those guys together into a single place and then register the pipelines and the configurations all in one go. And I think that's actually a great change. Props to the team. This is a fantastic way to organize all of those pieces that are programmatic and need to stick together. Now, the next change that came is this TOML change. Now, TOML is known as the Tom's Obvious Minimal Language. It's yet another format for holding your configurations. You can read more about it in this snarky Canadians What the Heck is pyproject.toml article. It's a fantastic article that breaks down what the heck pyproject.toml is. In short, the pyproject.toml is where you hold all of your build tools configurations. This is useful, for example, when you want to use something like pip to build a wheel package, and pip doesn't know all of the things that are required in order to build that package. So you would actually put those requirements inside of your TOML file. There's other changes as well with the TOML file. It's now where you can put your configurations that were originally put into the .kedro.yml file. This is the hidden file that sits inside of the root of your directory that gives you some configuration options. One of which actually is the ability to auto-disable any other plugins. I think that's actually really important. For example, if you have a bunch of Kedro plugins that are installed into your Python environment, you might not necessarily want to run them for every single project. So that configuration allows you to disable those specific plugins that you don't want to use. And I think that's really important because sometimes those plugins have incompatible libraries with the Kedro project that you're looking at the time. And a quick note also on backwards compatibility. So in the release documentation, it says that you do have complete backwards compatibility. However, the truth is that kedro lint, the command kedro lint, does not work with any previous projects. If I were to show you an example here, opening up the Kedro introduction tutorial, which is written in 0.16.4, if I type in kedro lint using the current new Kedro version, you're going to see that there's actually an error. So Kedro version is 0.16.5, and when I do Kedro lint, we're actually missing some configurations that were supposed to be inside of the .kedro.yml file. Now, in order to fix this, all you need to do is you type in your Kedro package name inside of the .kedro.yml file. The package name is the package name that is located inside of your source directory. In the Kedro introduction tutorial case, it is kit. So I'm going to open up my kedro.yml file, type in package_name, and type in kit as the package name. Now, when I type in Kedro lint, I will not have any errors, and instead, it'll show me that my code was a little bit messy, and that's all. Finally, I want to point out a really cool new dataset. We have the email.email message dataset. Now, this new dataset allows you to send email messages, which is actually super cool. For example, if you have a pipeline that runs daily and you usually look at a dashboard, why not just output that data into an email that you can send to whoever needs it? So this is kind of part of your reporting layer. And I think that's something that we always need to keep in mind. At the end of the day, the data pipelines that we are outputting are going to be read by a human. So we might as well adopt that analog practice. Otherwise, I think those are the most important patch notes. Thanks for joining me. If you guys like this content, make sure you button that like, sub that subscribe, and ring that ding if you want to know when we are pipelining. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.